Good morning, students. Students, for class 10th, I am going to explain today the second poem of your syllabus, and that is Tiger in the Zoo. Children, in this poem, the poet has very beautifully explained with a contrast that how a tiger in the zoo and a tiger in its natural habitat differs. How, when a tiger is in the zoo, he feels himself. The poet moves from zoo to jungle and then again back from jungle to zoo while explaining the feelings and the circumstances in which a tiger is kept in the zoo and in the forest, as the natural habitat for a tiger is a forest. Now, let us move on to the poem, children. Here I am going to explain you the first two paragraphs first. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. Now, he stalks means he walks in his vivid stripes, in his bright stripes, because the color of the tiger is very bright. So, with his bright color, the tiger is walking only few steps in the cage because the area is confined for him. He's inside the cage, he cannot move out of it, and that is why he's only able to take few steps inside the cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. On pads of velvet quiet, that means that with the soft footsteps, without creating voice and noise, in his quiet rage, in his anger, keeping it quietly inside his heart. Rage means anger. Both the words are being used as opposite to each other, quiet and anger together by the poet, which explains that when the tiger is in the zoo, he knows that he can't go out. He's confined into certain circumstances. He is restricted to walk inside the cage only with small footsteps. So he keeps his anger inside his heart and he keeps slowly walking in the cage. Now, children, the word he is used for the tiger. So, it is a personification as the poet has used he for the animal. Now, the next paragraph says, he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. Now, from the zoo, suddenly the tiger moves on in the jungle. The poet has first explained us that how does the tiger feels in the zoo, and then the poet has suddenly taken us to the jungle in the natural habitat of the tiger. And there he explains, he should be lurking in shadow. The word lurking means hiding. He should be hiding himself in the shadow. sliding through long grass. That means while walking from one place to another, a tiger knows how to hide himself behind the long grass, near the water hole where plump deer pass. And he would go and quietly settle himself behind the long grass where the deer would pass, so that he could catch him, so that he could feed himself, as the deer would become the food for the tiger. So you can understand and notice a difference, that when the tiger is into the forest, tiger is freely moving from one place to another without any restriction, without any limit. And the tiger is doing all the activities related to his natural desires, natural characteristics. That is why it is also one of the character of a tiger, that a tiger can catch the animals and can eat them. And that is why the poet has told us that the tiger would hide himself into the long grass near a water pool, near a water hole, where the deer would come and he could easily catch him. Now, moving on to the next paragraph, children, so that it becomes more clear to you. He should be snarling round houses at the jungle's edge, bring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. But he's locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars. Stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors, he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eye at the brilliant stars. Then again he talks and says that he should be snarling round houses. That means he should be growling. Snarling means growling. That he should be growling around houses. When? When the tiger is in the forest, when he is into natural habitat, so what would he do? He would going to frighten the people into the nearby villages just by his growl. As the next line says, at the jungle's edge, that means if certain villages are there at the edge of the jungle, even though tiger is enough to frighten them just by his growling sound. Baring his white fangs and claws, that means showing. Baring, showing. Showing his sharp teeth, right? And his sharp claws to the people. He has the ability to frighten anyone. He has that characteristic into him that he could fight and easily could frighten people. Now the poet has put a but, and this but will going to take us back again to the zoo, where the tiger is in the zoo. And at that time, how does he found himself bounded, and how the tiger expresses his fear. But he's locked in a concrete cell. That means he's locked into a strong built up cell, built up with strong building material. He's into a such concrete cell. His strength behind bars and his all the strength and his all the abilities to frighten the people, to catch the food for him is behind the bars. That means, how does he feel? He feels helpless. Stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitor. Only moving into the length of his cage, only taking the steps inside the cage, and he ignores the visitors. You know why he ignores the visitors? Because he knows he will not be able to do anything. He knows he will not be able to frighten anybody. That is why he says that I am ignoring visitors. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars. What are patrolling cars? Patrolling cars are the vehicles of the police who, especially during night, keeps an eye around. Right? So he says that that's the last sound which he's able to hear, the last voice at night, and he stares his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars, and he keeps staring the sky because he finds that he's helpless. He can't go anywhere out. He can't afraid people. He can't do what he is supposed to do into his natural habitat. And that is why the tiger feels himself helpless behind the bars and he looks towards the sky. Children, this poem is written by Nestle Norris, the poet, who has beautifully expressed us that how the poem silently once say a stanza and explains the helplessness, the pittiness of a tiger inside the zoo. And on the other hand, when the tiger moves to the natural habitat, how the tiger feels free, how the tiger feels happy moving from one place to another without any kind of interruption, without any kind of if and but. Children, I hope the poem is quite clear to you. Kindly make sure that you read it and hear the explanation twice so that it becomes more clear to you. Thank you, children.